Hey folks, so we're back and we have our shapes, and now we have to start to make our color wheel. Now our color wheel is going to primarily be made in Photoshop, and we're only utilizing this shape for Illustrator. So what I'm going to do though, still I'm going to work smarter and not harder, and I'm going to just do a save as. And I'm going to just build a folder here. I'll call this Art 252, and this is an assignment, so let's go ahead and make an assignments folder and one more for color wheel. And I'm going to call this thing color wheel shape and say save and say okay. Now in all honesty, I don't really need to save this, but I'm gonna, because I just want to have a fallback. So I'm going to go to Photoshop and I'm going to make a new document here. Now if you recall from Graphics 1, Illustrator, we can just say okay. Photoshop, we have to really be aware of things like resolution, color modes, color profiles, all that sort of stuff. So what I want to do is I want to make a square. So I'm going to make a 10-inch by 10-inch square, and I'm going to use a resolution of about 150. Okay, and the reason why we're not doing 300 is, again, this is a fun little assignment. We're really going to push a lot with filters and effects and stuff like that, so we don't need something that's going to crash your computer. My color mode is going to be RGB in 8-bit. My background is going to be white. I open up my advanced. I want Adobe RGB always, and I want square pixels always, unless I'm working with video for any odd reason. So I'll say okay to this. And boom, this is what I got. So the first thing I want to do is teach you a little bit of some key commands. So first off, let's take a quick look at our colors here. We have our foreground and background colors, red and white, or salmon color and white. I'm going to tap the letter D, and now it's black and white. So a couple key commands. If I hold down Option and Delete, then what it does is it fills my entire layer with my foreground color. And if I hold down Command and Delete, it does it for the background color. So again, Option Delete, foreground color, Command Delete, background color. And we're going to want Option Delete because I want this to be filled with black. Just so you're aware, I could also go ahead and go to Edit and Fill. And I could go ahead and I can pick my foreground color and say okay to that. And that would make it black as well. Last but not least, I could also go ahead and I could utilize something like our paint bucket here, and I could fill it that way. So lots of ways to get this thing to go to a full black screen. But I want to make sure, again, I tap the letter D. Even if it looks black, I'm going to tap the letter D so it's a default black, a nice jet black. Next, I'm going to go into my preferences. So I'm going to go to Photoshop and Preferences, and I'm going to go to where it says Guides, Grid, and Slices. And if you're on a PC, it might be in a different spot. I believe on a PC it's under Edit, but don't quote me on that. So anyway, I'm going to click Guides, Grids, and Slices, and what I want to do is I want to create, I want to pick what my guides are going to look like. So here in Guides, all right, it talks about my canvas and it talks about my artboard. So what that is showing us is that's showing us a bright cyan and a light blue. Okay, so the guide color on the canvas, that's what we're working on. That's going to be this cyan color, and then if there's an artboard, that's going to be in blue. We haven't gotten to artboards yet, so we only have to really worry about this. So if that's okay for you, we'll say okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by bringing down a guide. And to bring down a guide, what I need to have is rulers present. So right now my rulers are out. You may not have yours. So if you go to View, there's a little box, there's a little thing here that says rulers. There's a check mark there, so that means it's out. If I uncheck that, it disappears. I can also get to it with Command or on a PC Control R, and that's going to make your rulers appear. And to make a guide happen, you're just literally going to roll up to the ruler, and you're going to click and drag, and you're going to pull out this thing, and you're going to let go. Now, the reason I talk to you about the preferences is because you have to understand this. On a black screen like this cyan guide is probably going to be okay. But let me show you an example where it would not be okay, and you're going to have to go change it. What if this is the color that you're working with, and then you go ahead and you pull this guide down? That's not very fun, is it? That's pretty hard to see. So again, this is where you can go to preferences, and you can go to guides, grids, and slices, and you can change this color. There's a bunch. You can click on this little box right here, and you can pick any color you want. And see, that's what we got. Or you can go ahead and you can pick any of these colors here. So like a red would work, or in this case, would yellow work? That kind of hurts your eyes. Kind of makes them feel like they're going to bleed. Magenta might work out. That might stand out, right? But cyan, probably not. Luckily, we are not working on that. We're working on a black, so cyan would work. Now, the thing about guides is that you can actually go ahead and you can pull them out and you can pull them back unless you lock them. And we're going to actually create a guide and we're going to lock it. But guides leave a lot of room for error because what we're going to do is we're going to want to pull this thing out so it's about halfway there. And I can drop it so it looks like it's about halfway there. And this little y-axis here is telling me that I'm close, that I'm at 4.999 inches. But guess what? That's not 5. That's 4.999. Or I'm at 5.040. Also, that's not 5. That's 5.040. Why is it doing that? Well, it's because this concept of snapping is turned off. So if I turn this on, and then I say snap to, and I have guides, grids, layers, slices, I have all these things on. Let's see if that works out a little bit better for us. A little bit. Still not too much. Actually, I shouldn't say it doesn't work, because what ends up happening is it snaps to the middle of the document. Now that's going to be great at the middle of the document, but what if I need exactly 3.5? Now I'm running into that problem now here with like I'm pretty close, but I'm not quite there. So instead of messing with that, we're going to just go to this. We're going to say view and say new guide. And I'm going to just type in where I want it. So I want a vertical guide at 5 inches. And I'm going to do this again, new guide. And I want a horizontal guide also at 5 inches. 5 inches because this is a 10 by 10 document. And now I'm going to go to view and I'm going to say lock guides. So that way I can't accidentally click and drag them. And it says I can't do it because the layer is locked and the guide is locked too. I'd have to unlock my guides to then be able to grab them again. Okay, so this is what we want. And now this sets up the Photoshop document for us to move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as, and I'm going to use my tag. If you don't remember, if you weren't in my online class before, or if you didn't have me in an actual 222 class, you may not remember this or you may not know this, but I used a concept of tagging. So I'm going to use my initials -252 color wheel .psd, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that on my desktop. Well, in my R252 folder, in my assignments, in my color wheel folder, right there, I'm going to say save. And I want to embed my color profile, my RGB color. And that's what I got. And it's not much of anything, but it's better than nothing. When we come back, we're going to take a look at bringing things from Illustrator to Photoshop.